we're talking about our DNA. So, you know, this new science has really taken off. We got so good now. People that got to the point where they sending in the DNA of their dog to see what kind of what's the dominant breed is. Because certain I didn't know. A guy told me he had to send in the DNA of his dog because they would not rent him a place to stay because certain dogs are listed under the owner's insurance that should not be there. So these certain dogs, I said, yeah, he said, I got to send in the DNA to tell him, say this, that my dog is, if it's a German Shepherd, he said he got a few dogs, he don't want no, he said he don't want no a pit bull, if you look at a pit bull and such, I need to know exactly the DNA of your dog so my insurance company can be covered if anything happened in the buildings that I own. I said, well, I never heard stuff like that. You want to bring a dog, you got to have the certain make of what your dog is. What he 50% this, 75% what? And so they know. So I guess he understands that these things are happening. I said, I've never heard that before, but I guess DNA is really expanding.
Yes, yes.
And we go to the fact that in one of the wonders of modern science, decoding of the DNA, the blueprint, they call it the blueprint of life. Is that new media field various stories influence in relation with our relationships, and that kind of cracked me up because sometimes these folks they tell you stuff you really don't want to hear.
That's right.
They said I'm sending my DNA, so far as I know, I was German. So when I send it in, I better be German when it comes back. Now you may shock me for something else. Now.
All right.
I said, you all right, don't get your feelings hurt. So then, the biggest thing is the story between, what had us laughing was between Charles Barkley and they call him Snoop Dogg.
Yes.
They who's the black? I got more black in me. No, I got more black in me. And find out that Charles Barkley was wrong. Snoop Dogg got more black in him. In Indian than he is. Charles Barkley had some of everything in him, but he had less percentage of black. So he was really upset. So they say get your feelings hurt now when the DNA come back. And we see our relationships are bad. We find out even so that people and prisoners have been exonerated because the DNA fingerprints and things that the genetic fingerprints that prove that they was innocent. And when people get paid big money, and folks have pressured them to become in prison because they was confessed to say they did the crime when they really didn't do the crime.
Yes, yes.
Find out, this is the biggest case is one of Illinois where they tried to figure out who killed that Holly Hopkins girl, the little girl, and find out that it wasn't him. And it already proved to him. The DNA didn't show it him. Then we got the four little kids that supposed to have killed the girl over the bicycle. Find out that they DNA wasn't there. They already knew the DNA of the person didn't match none of them, but they went to jail for it. Which makes no sense. So just to put folk in jail, they know they was innocent. So then we seen a bunch of proven exonerations of DNA. And we think about that, and Paul certainly was aware, might not have been aware of DNA, but he was touching on a bunch of modern understanding of this. He said Paul was an expert in making sure that people knew what called for spiritual maturity was. So Paul, being already known to be a Jew, Paul could place importance on the being a descendant from Abraham. And Paul knew that the Jews is always, if anything, they gonna say one thing. They say, well, we come from Abraham. We're supposed to be blessed.
Yes, yes.
And that's what they built their faith on, that we are the blessed seed because we can be called the children of Abraham.
Yes.
Paul might have been the first one to say, okay, you might be, but these also are the children of Abraham. Why? Because they are justified by faith.
Yes.
And so their spiritual DNA, it might not be by biological connection mode, but because they have faith.
Yes.
So Paul was supposed to, speaking to the Galatians, we see that in that third verse, the first thing it said, "Oh, foolish Galatians,
Yes.
who have bewitched you that you should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Jesus Christ have evidence set forth, crucified among you."
Uh-huh.
So in other words, he said, wait a minute now, this spiritual DNA has already done happened. You didn't pay attention that God had already called you blessed.
Yes.
You don't need to listen to these Judaizers who saying we from the seed of Abraham. You're seed of Abraham too. So the first thing he points out is that even as Abraham believed God, and it was accounted to him for righteousness.
Yes.
For one thing, we already know that the Abraham, who he was, God, you might not even count him as a Jew at this time, because Abraham was a Chaldean.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, he
From
was.
Ur Chaldean.
Yes.
He didn't, if you wanted to add the Jewish name to him, he really didn't do nothing until God told him to circumcise everybody. So God counted to him as faith.
Yes.
So in other words, by faith, Abraham was the only one at that time, as you would say, that would listen to what God, the invisible God, told him to do. Told him to leave Ur Chaldean and go to a place that God would bless. So Abraham wandered in a solitary way. Read, anybody got Genesis 15:6 for me? We're going to move a little bit long, how God has blessed us, but the Galatians, they got 15:6.
And he believed in the Lord.
Yes,
and
yes.
he counted it to him for righteousness.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
And because he believed
Yes. Yes.
in God, Abraham was given righteousness. We know
Yes.
Abraham didn't do right. Lied down there to Pharaoh. Lied to the Philistine.
Yeah.
Say, this is my sister. Lied a couple of times to save his own skin.
Yes.
Amen. Even Sarah didn't do right. Gave her his handmaiden. Had a child by it. And God told him, that ain't the seed I promised to bless you with.
Yeah.
And so these things that are happening, but yet Galatians allowed folks to come in, these Judaizers, and bewitched them, told them, y'all ain't saved. Y'all ain't blessed. Y'all ain't even close to us.
Yes.
But then Paul went on to explain to them that the law, for as many are of the works of law are under the curse, for it is written, cursed is every man that committeth not in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them.
Yes.
So anyone that falls short of the law is cursed.
Yes. Yes.
We understand that the law, as we found out, was not only not able to stop sin, but we only made a sacrifice for sin. Right. But in other words, it wasn't able to change a man's heart and his mind. Under the law. You were just understood to follow the laws, and if you committed any sin, you were supposed to bring a certain sacrifice for the sin that you committed.
Oh, yes. Oh,
And
yes.
even those that even got healed, remember how Jesus told them that got cleansed from the leprosy, and one came back to tell him, he told him to go to Moses and do what Moses required and show the priests and bring the offering so they can say you clean.
Yes. Yes.
Because it's an atonement.
Yes.
For being diseased with leprosy.
Yes.
Even though he done healed the man and they went back, but he told them to do what the law said.
All right now.
So they can be with the running their way, and one decided to look at his hands, and his hands looked new.
Yes.
Looked at his feet, and they was too. So he came back to tell him, thank you.
Yes. Yes.
So these are the things that God is doing. So in other words, the law, you were still under the curse. And so we even know that some that came under the law and said, but that no man is justified by the law in the sight of God, it is evidence for that evidence for the just shall live by faith. Other words, said, in the sight of the law, you are not justified. The reason why David came and made atonement before God, because he has sinned. Now, God knew David was going to sin again.
Yes.
It's because he made atonement because of his sin.
Yes.
And then God would have with a peace because God told him to bring that sacrifice.
Yes.
And these are the sacrifices that God told him to bring. Okay, bring this sacrifice, the sacrifice of me for the atonement of sin. And that's why the priest had to make an atonement of sin before he went into holies of holies. Because if he wasn't right and wasn't justified right, God killed him.